Unless you've been off the internet for the past 2 years, it's almost impossible that you haven't come across non-fungible tokens, or NFTs. Your favorite musician was making them, people in politics were making them, and even YouTubers were making them. But since then, there's been a few concerns regarding NFTs. Join us as we discuss whether NFTs are racist and other concerns that people have brought up. First up, how did the craze for NFTs start? If you want to understand what's wrong with NFTs, it's only fair that we learn the history of NFTs and how they came to be. So here's a small overview of the astronomical rise in popularity NFTs received. The truth is that for most people, it felt like NFTs came literally out of nowhere. One minute you're trying to understand what cryptocurrency and blockchain even is, and the next there are 15 think pieces about how bad NFTs are for society. NFTs, short for non-fungible tokens, are essentially art pieces or content in any medium which has a unique blockchain address. This address is not replicable, it's almost impossible to hack into and steal, and it uses the unique address to provide proof of ownership. That's why you see so many crypto bros talking about the ownership of their art and how it's theirs only. This, of course, presented an opportunity for artists all around the world to find ways to make their art more valuable and then be sold as NFTs. There were limited edition art pieces, new snippets of music, personalized messages, and whatnot, sold for exorbitant amounts at auctions to die-hard fans. All in all, there's a market for NFTs which is growing, and it'll keep growing because of the increased need for security and ownership in the modern age. So what's all this about the NFTs being racist? You must be thinking that we're insane. There's a growing sentiment around the internet about false calls, often spread by certain groups of people. Regardless of your personal opinion, the claim is backed by significant scientific proof in this case. It's based on a study conducted by actual professionals using proper quantitative and qualitative research methods. So what do we exactly mean about NFTs being racist? Aren't NFTs objects? Non-sentient things on the internet? How can something like that have feelings or opinions, let alone hateful ones? Well, we're talking specifically about the production and consumption of NFTs in the market. The claim is that after analyzing some parts of the NFT market, one can reach the conclusion that there are racist undertones in the NFT market. But what exactly is the problem here? So you know of CryptoPunks, right? Those pixelated drawings of people with that very specific art style? A lot of NFT buyers use those as their display pictures and show off their specific CryptoPunk. Well, as it turns out, dark-skinned CryptoPunks are actually rarer and cheaper than light-skinned ones. This means that the white CryptoPunk avatars are more in use, first of all, and more expensive to buy. What's the problem here? Well, the problem is that it goes against one basic economic principle that leads the researcher to believe that there are other factors at play, namely racism. Okay then, what principles does this finding not obey? Now that we know what exactly is happening, let's try to understand why it's happening and how it's a problem specifically. A new scientific study by Mr. Jeremy Nguyen, who is a senior lecturer at the Swinburne Business School and has also served as an economist for the Reserve Bank of Australia, looked into almost 19,000 sales of CryptoPunk NFTs and tried to see the trends in sales. The trend that he ended up making a note of was the one we've just gone over: dark-skinned CryptoPunks selling for less and being less in use. The main principle violated here is the basic free market rule of supply and demand. As it goes, rarer things are supposed to be more expensive, as they are most unique. That's why NFTs are so expensive in the first place, because of their uniqueness. This gives us the idea that in a free market like the one present in NFT trading worldwide, things which are most expensive are usually the ones which are rare. The study shows that dark-skinned CryptoPunks are going for 8% less than average, and lighter skin tones can be sold for up to 10% higher than average. This shows a clear trend of light-skinned avatars being more popular, despite being less rare. The conclusion almost everyone can draw here is that fewer and fewer people are interested in both making and buying dark-skinned CryptoPunks, indicating a trend of racism. But that's hardly any proof of racism. If you think that this evidence is overreaching a bit, you're not the only one. There's been considerable backlash over the fact that this evidence hardly proves racism, but it does bring up a lot more questions about the study. First of all, was the sample size even big enough? There were 19,000 sales monitored and researched upon. hardly a big number relative to the NFT market as a whole. Next, was this sample size even strong enough to create a conclusion as strong as racism? That's a very fair criticism put forth by many. Have you noticed another problem with the study? The research done is solely on the price and the rarity of the item. If you look at it like that, then yes, there is a correlation between the price of a CryptoPunk and its skin color. But what if people just want to buy CryptoPunks that look more like them, and there's just more light-skinned people in the NFT market? That right there is the biggest criticism of the study itself. It doesn't take into account the people who are buying the NFTs and their backgrounds. This leads to skewed results like the one made in the study. Well, what's next then? What's next for the study then? Is there any revision planned, or will Dr. Nagayan just leave it as is? How has the team responded to the criticism concerning their research methods given by the internet? You'd be happy to hear that the team acknowledged the criticism. They've invested considerable time and resources in it, and they've given a few pointers as to where the research could go next. Of course, they agree that this is not an all-encompassing study. They know that this is a very basic understanding, but they also think of it as the first step towards discovering something big, proof of racial discrimination in NFT markets. They think that the next step is to start looking into who buys the CryptoPunks NFTs and relate that information to already existing data about NFT buyers. They believe that when buying data is combined with the current research about market value, everyone would have a better idea about how crypto bros are buying NFTs and whether there's discrimination involved. In other news, your NFT might not be as safe as you think. Earlier in this video, we defined NFTs and very convincingly said that it's almost impossible to hack into NFTs and steal the data. After all, that's really the appeal here, right? You spend insane amounts of money on something which is otherwise free or very cheap, like graphics, in hopes that it'll stay in your possession forever, at least until you choose to sell it. Well, new data shows that we all were really wrong about NFTs. As it turns out, there's been more than $100 million worth of NFT data stolen since July last year, and the number is only going up. It's estimated that criminals can make up to 300 grand per scam. NFT scams really are no joke. These are high-rolling criminals, and they are made possible by the crazy high prices these NFTs are set at. Okay, but how do they do it? Good question. How do they do it, really? Blockchain code is almost impossible to crack, right? How is it possible then that someone can hack in and steal your data, which just coincidentally happens to cost a fortune? There are several ways to go about it. The most popular one is phishing, a technique where criminals trick you into giving your credentials. This could be a very well-written email which looks so legit, but contains that pesky phishing link in the end. You might say that you're too smart to fall for something like this, but you'd be surprised at how many people get thrown off by the fancy language. Phishing links could also be advertised on Google, with unsuspected NFT fans falling for these links showing up at the top of their Google searches. If there's anything you should learn from all of this, it's that criminals would go miles to scam you. In such an environment, always remember this: even if NFTs may be 99% safe themselves, you are still prone to danger. So browse mindfully on the internet and use antiviruses where applicable. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think of the new research on NFTs? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.